Hello, my name's Mel, welcome to my world, and for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm currently turning this Mercedes Sprinter into an off-grid, go anywhere, sleep anywhere, it was kind of stealthy, camper van, and today I'm going to take care of some rust. After all, it's a Sprinter, right? Luckily underneath this Sprinter it's quite rust free, but that's not the same for the sides unfortunately, and a bit of rust I want to take care of is in the side door. Just take a look at that. Now, the reason I want to get this done as soon as possible is because it is creeping up above this line, and once it gets above this line that means I'm going to have to paint this whole panel, but all the time it's below that line I can get away with just painting below that line. Hopefully that rust hasn't creeped up past that underneath the paint, so with a bit of luck I've caught this just in time. Now the first thing I've got to do is take this side panel off, and there are screws each side behind here going that way, same that side. I've taken those off, so all I've got to do now is unclip it and see what's going on behind it. But first I'm going to put you on a tripod and you can watch me do exactly that. Right, so these screws are the little tiny screws that are each end and they're screwed in from the back, and to undo these you're going to need one of these, which is a Torque 20 or a T20. Okay, so there's two of those, one at each end. I've already taken those out. The other tools you're going to need is one of these little plastic pry bars, and a pry bar maybe like this, and I've covered this in masking tape so that I don't scratch the paint. So let's see how difficult it is to get this off. I'm hoping I can just pull it off with my hands. Yeah, it's been off before, that's why it's easy to get off. It says there's always one, isn't there? Or two. We need these. These are the little white plastic bits that go in each end to hold those screws. So yeah, make sure we don't lose them. Put that back in there like that. Show you what I've done. So these clips here, make sure you don't lose those. They're the ones that the screws go in. Very important. So put that to one side. Yeah, this has definitely been off before. I'll bring you down close so you can see. My little rust spot isn't too bad. It's only that little bit there, but also there's a bit there as well. The rest of it's rust free, so I've got two little bits of rust to take care of. Now looking at this door, I know that panel has been off before because these are supposed to be white, but in fact they are silver, which means this door has had a previous repair. It's been painted and they've not bothered taking these clips out before they paint it. But we're going to take them out, and to take them out we use this special plastic tool. Simply get that behind and push, and it should pop out, he says, or not. There you go. So I'm going to take all these out and then I'm going to clean it. When I put this back together, I'm going to seal these holes with a bit of silicone sealant. Right, so that's what I'm going to do next. Well, it would appear my van has a little bit of hidden history, and I can tell this because when now I've took these plastic lugs out, if you look, you can see they're white. The white paint where I've taken them out, and the lugs that were missing, there is no white circle. So this door used to be white and someone's resprayed it silver and not bothered taking the lugs out when they done it, because the ones that are missing, you can see they've actually painted. So yeah, it's very interesting, but nevertheless I've taken them all out. It doesn't faze me. It's obviously had a new door, and it was obviously a long time ago because of the rust. And it is clear on the HPI list. It's not registered as being a write-off or anything like that. So for some reason it's had a new door fitted but it was a while ago. But the rest of the door's really good. I've literally just got these two little spots of rust to take care of. This one here, which is the main one, and a little bit there. So yeah, considering it's a Sprinter, I'm quite pleased with that. So the first thing I've got to do is get rid of this and this, grind it all out and see what's underneath. And to do that, I'm going to use my angle grinder. I'm not going to mess about, I'm just going to attack it. Now, to remove the paint that's over the top of the rust, I'm simply going to use one of these zip wheels. They're quite controllable and they're not too vicious, but don't be afraid to put a bit of pressure on. At the end of the day, you want to get rid of as much of that rust as you can. You want to get rid of it all. So let's do that right now. Well, I'm happy with that. Come here, I'll show you. So there you go, I think I got away with that. I caught that just in the nick of time. It's not quite above that line. So it's going to be a bit difficult painting it below that line and getting it to blend, but I'm sure we can do that. Now there is a bit of pitting, the metal's pitted, so I will be putting a little bit of filler over there just to blend it in a bit. And the same down here, there's a little pinhole, so I need to treat that now with anti-rust crust. Yeah, it's called crust. So I need to paint some of that on there just to treat the rust, stop it coming back through. But there's no guarantee it's not going to rust from the inside out, that's the only problem. But as long as it gives me a few years, I'll be happy with that. And I'm pretty sure it'll hold it back for a couple of years at least. Yeah, it'll be fine. So to treat the rust on here, I'm going to simply use Kurust by Hammerite. Good, real good stuff this is. And when it dries, it leaves a crusty layer over it to protect the rust. This is an empty pot. I've poured a little bit out of that one into this one. So we're simply going to just put that on there like that. Let that dry. Now if you get any running down your paintwork, you want to get that off as soon as you can, because it will stain. And to get that off, just use a bit of blue roll. Might want to use a bit of a damp cloth as well. Now the only reason I've given this a real good soaking is because there are tiny little pinholes and I want that formula to go the other side as well. Just to give me a sporting chance. Stop it rusting from inside out. Really the only way to do that properly is to take the panel off from the inside and get to it from inside. But because of where the skin is, I don't think I can even do that. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm pleased I did this before it went over that line. Right, so we'll give that about 20 minutes, half hour to dry, and then we'll carry on with the rest of it. So there you go, I've put a little tiny smudge of filler over there, and that is just to hide the dimples. It's literally just to hide the dimples in the rust. Now the idea of this is to try and stop that rust spreading anywhere. It's not to make it absolutely perfect. As long as everything stays below this line, you're not going to see it anyway. So yeah, that should be good enough. So the next stage is just to simply sand it down, make it a little bit smooth before I apply some primer. So just using this flat edge, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, before I do that, it's a good idea to protect your lungs. Oh. that's pretty much it. That is all I'm going to do. The next stage, mask it up, put some primer on it. It's got a little bit of filler there that I've got above that line. Yeah, that should be fine now. So I've rubbed it down, I've masked it up. All I need to do now is put some primer on it. This is just simple grey primer. A little bit there. And I'm not going to put a lot on. It's just there you go, that's it, that's all it needs. Simple as that. Right, so I've put another coat of primer on there. The one coat just wasn't enough. You could still see through it. So I put 2 coats of primer, and I've lifted the edge of the masking tape and I've feathered it up. That way hopefully the paint will blend in a bit nicer. Won't be such a sharp edge. Now I'm using base coat from Kent Paints and a clear lacquer as well. And this clear lacquer should seal it so that there's no water can penetrate and get to our bare metal underneath. I've already given this a good shake. And this is it really, this is so simple to do. So if you have got any rust on your van, have a go at fixing the rust yourself. I mean, you can't make it any worse, right? It doesn't have to be a professional job, it just needs to be good enough to stop that rust spreading. I think I'm going to have to leave that to dry. I'll give this a couple of coats. Right, so that coat's dry, so one more coat. And I'm literally just dusting this on. Nothing heavy. I mean, the bottom bit don't really matter. I don't even know why I'm putting paint on the bottom bit. It's just to seal it. Feather it off. I'm just feathering it off down there. And that's it. Now I'm just going to wait for that to dry and seal it with me 1 coat lacquer. Whilst that's drying, I'll give this a good shake. Now my base coat is dry, it's just a matter of putting a little bit of lacquer on it. And again, I'm just going to feather this on, just give it a nice thin layer, but build those layers up. And this does come out quite quick. Mustn't forget the edges. Just feather it off at the ends, so I'm just feathering it so it blends in. You can actually see this silver is quite a lot darker than the original, so I'm glad I managed to save this before it went above that line, because by the time we take all this masking tape off and polish it, chances are you won't notice that because of the change of the angle in the metal. Fingers crossed. But down here, this is just purely to seal it, to stop any moisture getting to our metal. So that'll do, I think. Plenty. The edges. Yeah, I'll let that dry right off and then I'll give it another coat. Now that my paint is finally dry, well, my lacquer, it's all dried. It's a matter of taking off the masking tape. And look at that line. It's quite a difference. Yeah. Even though that paint is supposed to match this paint, it doesn't quite match, does it? But then this door has been painted before, which is why I was a bit worried. There you go. Now you can see that line. I'm not worried about that because once that's dried really properly, once it's proper dry, I mean it's still a bit soft, but once it's dried hard, I can flat that back and blend it in with the line. Still better than rust anyway. Right, so now that's all out of the way, I need to glue my panel back in. Now a lot of people, you've seen this on a lot of channels, they put sealant around these before they put it back on the van. But I'm not going to do that, I've got a better idea. Well, I think it's a better idea anyway. Rather than put sealant directly to those, I'm going to put sealant around the holes. I think that'll be much better. Like that. Yep, that one. I've put one in there. the one that was missing. We don't need a lot, it's just to stop the water going in. Now I'm just using multi-purpose silicone for this. It's not mastic or anything strong like that. It is purely to seal those holes, make sure no water can ingress into my door, thus making all my insulation wet. It's good enough, that's all it's for. I'm not trying to glue the panel to the door, I just want to seal it. So that's it, make sure these clips are in place. And I've washed these, by the way. They do look a bit grotty still, but I have washed them. Start with that end. And I should just push back in. Pieces. Voila, now I've got to put the screws back in. Now these are only screwing into plastic, so you don't have to do them up tight. You haven't got to wrench them up tight because you'll just rip the plastic thread out otherwise. It looks so much better. Well, there you go, that looks so much better. It's much better than rust, and hopefully that'll keep the rust at bay for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. It's not the best job, but it'll do the job that I want it to do, and that's to stop that rust coming back through. Now if you want to see me take care of even more rust, I did do the back doors in more detail. So if you want to see that video, I'll put a link up here. Check that video out. I'll also put a link at the end of this video. I'm happy with that. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, it makes all the difference. And if you are new to my channel, please do consider subscribing. By subscribing to my channel, you help save the local wildlife. I've got 2 cats and they're both hungry. What better reason do you need than to subscribe to a channel than that? Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now.